So here we are on a new farm, and we're putting some last minute trail cameras up, and it brought something up that we here at Exodus talk all the time with guests, people in the office that call in, and something as deer hunters that we notice as well. And that is a lot of the overlooked things that you should be bringing to check your trail cameras during season. We're gonna be putting a couple cameras up here today, and we're gonna be walking through everything that you should be bringing as you check them throughout the season. So let's get right into it. All right, now some of this is gonna seem so obvious and you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna click off this video. This guy's dumb. But hear me out. This is the general reminder that you guys really need to consider as you go out and check cameras this fall. It's late September, it's about to be October, and that means that those alkaline batteries you've been running this summer, it's time to switch them out to lithium batteries. We've talked about this in depth on Trail Cam Radio, and we actually have a video that you can click somewhere around here and learn all about lithium batteries and how to get the most battery life out of your cameras. But we're setting this out now, and lithium batteries are in it, a fresh card's in there. But something to consider when you're going to check these cameras is having an extra set or two of lithium batteries in your pack. There's been times where I've bought lithium batteries from grocery stores like Myers in specific, and I bought multiple set of batteries through there. And every time, I don't know if they sat on the shelf forever, but for whatever reason, I had a bad batch multiple times that I bought from that store. So in theory, these batteries should last for the entire season. I've done it many times. You set it and forget it. With a set of lithium batteries and a fresh card, you'll have no issue. But let's, for instance, you go and check the camera and it's dead. Having that extra set of batteries can save you a trip in and out, which is key. And furthermore, if it's really hard to get to, do you really want to make that trek twice? So having an extra set of batteries in your pack, in your pocket, wherever, that's key. And then we even have customers too that'll buy the extra battery tray, and maybe it's set on a tree on a field edge, and they change it like a magazine and a gun almost. They just pop it out, replace it. So we're gonna hang this here up on this tree, point it down. There's a really good trail coming off a thicket. And curious here, we're putting a lift to here because it's really easy to get to. We're gonna put on video mode, and so we're gonna hang this up, and then we'll go into the next tip. All right, so the next pretty obvious thing you wanna bring when you check cameras is if you were just doing a simple card swap, having an extra SD card or an SD card case. That's what I usually bring, and I have two rows, one with cards that are ready to be switched out, and then the other side of cards that were just taken out of the camera. Now, you wanna make sure that you have cards that work, or whether they're fresh or they're paired with the right camera. You don't wanna be switching SD cards with different camera brands or even different camera types. Ideally, you have two cards, an A card and a B card for the one camera, and you're switching those two out exclusively. I'm not gonna be the person to say I do that every single time, but having some level of organization will go a long ways as you're checking those cards in season. And so we're gonna talk about the next thing, which is using an SD card checker that plugs into your phone in the field. And if you are an iPhone user, Apple makes one. It's right around, I wanna say it's below $30 on Amazon. And that is gold when you are checking cards in season. You're able to plug it right in your phone, and then you're able to scroll, import images, check them right on there. And there's a lot of aftermarket or cheaper options out there, but I would suggest spending the extra money to get the Apple certified SD card checker for your iPhone. And we have a video on that as well that you can check out all the details on that particular accessory. So the next thing that I always like to have with me or nearby when checking cameras in season is a pair of snippers and a handsaw. Now, typically this would carry even more weight when you're putting those cameras out for the first time every year. I find myself really taking some time when I'm hanging cameras for the first time on a new spot, because you're really trimming things out, you're making sure it's hidden to the best that you can. And these always come in handy. And honestly, I like to sometimes with these weeds, I don't have a weed whip with me or anything. You can kind of use this to help knock it down and also snip these down. So during the season though, where these are really applicable in my opinion, are when you're maybe shifting the camera and you're able to have this and get in there and get out quickly as possible and try to snap green branches that are just bending. You're able to cut them real quick and have your camera set up to the best that you can and eliminate any false triggers with those branches that are blowing just on the edge of the detection zone. So that's something that is probably worth carrying. I know everyone has different things in their pack, but these things are always very near to me, whether they're in my truck and I'm checking cameras, I throw them in my pack real quick, or sometimes I'll throw them in my pocket. So these are two accessories that would be great in addition to the SD card checker. I know as we go through this list, it feels like it keeps getting longer, but if you're going in to solely check and mess with cameras, then make sure you have all the equipment to handle that. This is another thing to strongly consider. If you bought a cell camera, whether it was the Render or anything else, and you were running it throughout the season, or maybe you just put it up within the last couple weeks, you're gonna run out of batteries. Those things are consuming a lot of power to transmit photos from a camera on a tree to your phone in real time or whatever upload interval you're using. It's not too late to basically lose the benefit of using a cell camera. And I would say if you haven't done so, consider scooping up one of our SB18s and whatever mounting bracket you want to use and bringing it with you, charging it to full battery life, and that will be, plugging it into the wall for basically 24 hours. So this thing is charged with essentially an extra set of lithium batteries that recharges with direct sunlight and ambient sunlight. And so you mount that when you go and switch out those batteries that are probably close to dying, or you put that up there. And between the two, you should be covered for a very long time. There's a handful of sets that will last the entire season, no problem, with a set of lithium batteries and a solar panel. Now, every set is a little bit different. Every camera set is a little bit different in sense of what settings I'm using. So there is some variance to that, but this will save you money in the long term with lithium batteries, and it'll save you a lot of gas, a lot of time, and just hopefully issues. So that is a bonus piece of gear to strongly consider if you're running cell cameras. So here's something that I like to do as well when I'm taking these batteries out to the field. Something I just remembered. When you're buying them on Amazon, which has been the cheapest place I can find to buy reliable, cheap lithium batteries, and I like to buy them in the 8s. Now, yes, it is about probably 10 cents more per battery. However, it saves me money in the long run because I used to buy them in the more bulk packaging where they come in a sleeve and they're coming in 4s. When you're out in the field, it is a lot more cumbersome, and I just like to have these ready to roll, and so much easier to change batteries with the battery tray in comparison to trying to keep track of 2 little cardboard boxes that loose form in your pack if they fall down to the bottom. And I just feel that it is worth spending the extra few cents to be just extremely organized and have an extra set in your truck, an extra set anywhere you might need a set of batteries that you may simply don't. So I try to have a set in all my packs, a couple in my truck, and just wherever you think you may need them, because a lot of things can happen throughout the season, and maybe you put out a camera that maybe you forgot, and then you have that extra set of batteries to save you and get you through the rest of the season. So another thing it's not a gear or a knick-knack or anything else for checking cameras, but it's something to consider in your checklist, and that's timing, checking these standard SD cards during a rainstorm or in close conjunction to one on the front side of it. Now, obviously, you work the 9 to 5, it's gonna be really hard to do that. Obviously, if there's a really good storm coming in Saturday or Sunday, you're able to do so. But even if you're able to sneak out and do that, I think it's probably worth the effort. I always try to do that and prioritize farms. There's no way I can check all my cameras before a rainstorm. But if, as I'm rotating throughout the season, knowing that some farms are better in the early part of October, and there's other farms that are better rut farms and better farms that are late season. So trying to prioritize what is the best for the time of year and time that with a rainstorm. Not rocket science, but it's something that is a little bit different than what you would want to do. You don't want to go out there and get soaked in the middle of October in the rain, but it could be the benefit of having success in the fall. The other thing to really consider is you don't want to check your cameras too much and add too much pressure. I've been guilty of this in the past. Thankfully, with solar panels and cell cameras, you're able to pair those together and stay out of more sensitive areas. I always actually like to put a Lift 2 in close conjunction of there as well, because I like to check out the videos. Just the pictures aren't enough for me. So that in a nutshell is your in-season trail camera checklist. If you think I forgot something, let us know in the comments, and we hope you guys have a great season, and good luck.